further uses of the third person pronoun. So we have talked about them being used already. So David was teaching them, got a pronoun. It's just instead of referring to them exactly who they are, we can use the pronoun. David is teaching his brother. Again, just using the pronoun there. Now, there are other uses which we have for the pronoun in Greek, words that we would use ourselves, which are a word meaning the same. So here we have the same teacher is teaching, and in Greek we'll use the word same, but in Greek it uses the third person pronoun. Okay, and it's all about where it gets positioned in the sentence, which we'll see in just a moment. So we're going to look at a word for the same, and then there's two uses, which we'll come to just one of them now, which is the teacher himself teaches the lesson. So here, this is sort of an emphatic adjective, we might say. So it's emphasizing, isn't it, that the teacher himself is doing this, as opposed to, I guess, somebody else doing it. So we've got the same, which is a word which we're just going to look at, and himself. Okay. Now, there is a difference between this and a third person reflexive pronoun. We use the same word in English. So the teacher teaches himself, which is slightly different to the construction. The teacher himself teaches the lesson because he's teaching himself in the reflexive pronoun. We'll come back to that in a moment, though. And it's just something we have to be aware of in our English language. We use the same word in Greek; they have different words. Okay. Just taking then these two parts here. The same teacher, the teacher himself. So the use of the word same and himself. If we just have a look at a reminder of the chart. So this is the chart that you saw in chapter 3. So the third person pronoun, he, she, it, and then all of the different cases, how they would appear in an English sentence, depending on where they are, and they have all their relevant endings. So we talked a little bit about earlier how we've used them so far. So I won't go into that right now. Again, I won't go back over that. What I will do is, if we just look at when it's used as an adjective meaning the same. Okay, so in that English example, the same teacher. So if you use the pronoun in between a noun, so this is the case here. So if we put the pronoun, so we've got ho autos mathetes euangelitsatai, then what we've done here is we've added the pronoun in between the noun that it's essentially modifying. Okay, and when we do that, then that is translated as the same. Okay, so the same mathetes is the same disciple. And just to remind you of something we did in the previous session, which is, remember, there are a few nouns that have feminine endings, but they're look like feminine endings, but they're actually masculine nouns. Okay, so they have different endings. They're confusing genders, as we call them. So mathetes, which is disciple, is one of those. All right. So the same disciple, and then euangelitsatai is preaching good news. All right. It says, sorry, put is. So the same disciple is preaching the good news. Right. So what you just need to note here is that the use of the pronoun in between the noun is going to mean the same. Okay, and similar here. So just a plural version of the same thing. So therion is actually in the list, I think, for the previous chapter, which means, or the 2 chapters ago, means an animal or a beast. Okay, so here we have the same beasts. Okay, the same beast or the same animals, however you want to call it, are coming. All right, so that is erkomai, which was one of those deponent verbs we used before. So the same beasts are coming from and then the desert. So taste Eramu is another one of those nouns of confusing genders. It's got masculine endings, but it's a feminine noun. That's not our point here. The point is that we stick in the pronoun in between the noun and the article, and it means the same. Okay. Now, if we put the pronoun the other side of the article, so I want you to notice here that we have the pronoun before the article. Okay, so alte he adelphi, that means the sister herself. Oops, that's not how you spell herself. Herself. So the sister herself, and this is from the verb to work, and it's in the past, so was working. Working. Just Gatsamai. Okay, so the sister herself was working. And so the key here is to note that we have the pronoun in a different place. Okay, so it's in front of the article. And so the same again with this one here. We've got autos o theos lege prostein cardian. So we've got this. We won't use the there, will we? We'll put God himself. God himself. Let me write that properly. God himself is speaking. And then we've got to the heart. Okay, so tein cardian, which is in the accusative, as it follows the preposition I've just put in there, pros. Right, so we've got two more uses for the pronoun now. So we just have to pay attention to where it fits within the sentence so that we understand whether it means the same or whether it means himself or herself or themselves. Okay, and once again, I have a set of questions which we can just have a quick look at. If we do these for about 6 or 7 minutes, they'll give us enough time just to do the last bit, which actually isn't very long. The reflexive pronoun is just a few minutes at the end as well. I'll stop the recording at this point.